Welcome to Parenting Trap, Episode 4, where Alex and I discuss the importance of play.
Today we are talking about the importance of play.
Yay! We wanted to talk about this because so often I think we're giving a lot of information, and it sounds, I think your words were, we're not robots.
No, we're not robots, because I'm like, we need to treat kids respectfully, and they're just like us, which sounds like we're very robotic with our kids, or, not fun, but quite the opposite. We value play. Play is super important for everyone, and kids especially. That's how they learn. And it's a great way for us to bond with our kids.
Yes.
So like a lot of times, even like challenging behaviors that you see or situations that you might get into can be relieved with play. So using play is so awesome. It's so important to do. I can't stress that enough.
Yeah. And not even just while you're playing. I think there's a couple things that would be great to go over too. Like, entering their world of play and letting them control the play, and then also diffusing situations with play.
Yes.
Can be huge. So maybe we just start kind of with those two ideas.
I love it. Yeah. And so you said, don't control their play. And so controlling their play looks like there's a baby laying on the floor and looking at an object or looking away. And then the adult comes in and says, "Oh, hey, look at me." And you're trying to get the baby's attention. So I would say respect, because I think that, babies exploring their world, they're doing it through play. I would call that play. And so interrupting them feels disrespectful and startling. And I just think it would be best to, if you wanted to interact with a baby, to sit down and wait for the baby to acknowledge you. And then when the baby looks at you, you can say, "Hi, how are you today?" And then you can maybe show her an object that you have or something. Even as the child gets older, I see a lot of adults come in and see two kids playing. Maybe they're playing with an object that's not meant to be played with that way. I remember.
Oh my gosh. Yes. Okay. Yeah.
It's crazy. I remember one time I had a carpet in my kid's bedroom. I bought one of those carpets that has roads. Like it looked like a map, like with roads and buildings. And I thought they would love, because they had little toy cars, and I thought they would love to drive the cars on the carpet. And they didn't. And it used to drive me crazy, because I was like, when are they going to learn to? And then I realized that was my problem, not their problem. They loved the carpet. They played with it in a different way. They used to be like, "That's ketchup." And they'd point to the red buildings and like, "That's mustard." And those the yellow buildings. And I was like, "Yeah, okay." And then they would like pretend to grab like hamburgers and like French fries. They'd ask me what I'd want, and then they'd like go and like pick it out of the rug. So they came up with their own type of play. But yeah, I think that an adult kind of going in and saying like that, this is how you do it is it's weird.
It is weird. And, I think we get excited about things. We can get excited about items, and we want to see our kid enjoy them. And it's so interesting that we can be so bothered by them not enjoying it the way that we want them to enjoy it. But I think it's important to let that go, because what kids come up with on their own is amazing and creative. And it's also so funny to me that we interject and interrupt their play all the time to correct them, which can just be so frustrating. They're going to stop wanting to play with the thing they're playing with if they're constantly corrected. But not only that, it's like, how often do you also just want some time to yourself and wish your kid was playing independently for like 5 minutes?
Yes.
All the time.
We stop that process when we are interrupting them, for sure. Because then they're like, "Oh, well, I don't know how to play. I need my parents to show me how to play, because they're the ones who show me how to use things and do things the right way."
Yep.
And so they become dependent on you.
And they will always go to you for play. But if you want your kids to be more independent in their play, then stop interrupting their play.
Yes.
But that being said,
you can join it though.
Join it. And I think that's also what so much of this episode is about, where if your kid is, if your you're sitting there and you see your kid is reaching out to you or trying to include you in their play, joining them is so important. And it could even be that they're going to do something silly, but it could even be that they might get a little bossy. I'm going to be the mama and you the baby, right? Like you see that sometimes because they want to feel what that feels like to have that kind of like power, because we're to them, we're very powerful, and they want to experiment.
They don't have a lot of control
too.
in their lives, so a lot of times they get that out through play.
Yeah,
experiment with it.
And I would say go for it, and it's play. And you don't need to remind them that it's play; they know it's play. I see parents do that a lot too. We're playing, right? like they're like, this doesn't. We can't do this in real life, you know. Like in real life, I'm your mama. It's like your kid knows that. You don't need to remind them, you know. And just enjoy the moment and laugh with them. Just have fun and let them boss you around. Like, I'm the mama and you have to go, you know, go over there and pick up your toys. And you're like, okay, Mom, I'll go pick up my toys. You know, whatever it is, just
yeah, we went through a long phase where my oldest would put me down for a nap, and I loved that game because
you're like, I want a nap, yes.
Because my job in the game was to lay sleeping in my bed. So like he would say like, "Okay, Mom, time for a nap," and he'd lead me into my bedroom, and he would like put my covers on and tuck me in, and he would get me like a stuffy, and he'd say, "Okay, good night." He'd go and he'd leave the room, and then like 2 minutes later, he would walk back in and say, "Okay, Mom, time for your nap," and then he'd just keep checking on me and giving me stuff. But it was so relaxing.
Yeah,
so I got to lay there.
You're like, I do want a nap. This sounds great.
I did not actually get to nap. I would have liked that.
No, but laying down sometimes that feels like enough of a break.
It was an awesome break.
That's great. Yeah. So I think enjoy your kids' play. Let them play the way that they want to play.
Observe when they're playing and don't interject unless invited, I think is a good one.
Yeah.
I mean, if it feels organic, yes, but they want to play with you, and if we sit back and we watch what they're doing, we learn so much. We learn like what their game is. A lot of times it's different than what we're expecting.
Oh, also, and when we do that, when we aren't paying attention to their play, and let's say we do step in and interrupt and we try to do what we think they're doing, they get really frustrated. I've noticed. You know, it's like you might go in and you might start putting blocks on a building with them because they're building a tower, and then they're going to scream and go, no, that block, stop, you know, and it's like, you know, they had an idea of what they're going to do and you just changed it, and so they're going to start getting mad at you, and then you're going to start getting frustrated because you know, you didn't, that's not what your intention
to do something
was.
fun. You want to do something nice.
Yeah. And now
your kids, and now you're getting yelled at, and that doesn't feel very good.
Doesn't feel good.
So nobody wins in that situation.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely sit back, observe, do a lot of observation, and when you're invited, join in, play, and do it in an authentic way. Yeah.
And definitely let them take the lead on that, because it is them, it is their play. And if you have some idea that you want to do, you're like, gosh, I really want to build a tower this way. Well, you'll have time to play with those toys when your kid's in bed. So like, I mean, it sounds silly, but really people do. People will oftentimes like control toys in a certain way. And it's like, if you're going to do that, just do that in your own time. Because we have plenty of our own time, right? No, so much of our own time. And yeah, but it can be hard, you know, when we see kids play with certain things, or we're afraid it's going to break.
Something's going to break?
Yeah. So like what? I think this is an important thing with play, because I'm the kind of parent, I let my kid pretty much play with their toys any way they want to.
Right.
But sometimes that can break a toy.
I see. So it's going to break the toy.
Oh, don't do that.
It depends. Okay. So there's, I've done both. I've let them break toys, and it's kind of like, oh, now it's broken, and it's a teaching moment.
Yeah.
But there are some like books and stuff I did not want destroyed.
Yeah.
And so I just decide, if I know that the child's capable of that, like they're still young and they're doing that type of play, if they start doing play that's rough, that's going to break the toy, and I don't want it broken because it was a lot of money or something, I will say, I'm not going to let you do that. This could break it. And you just take it away.
Yeah. That makes sense. That makes perfect sense. Yep, that's what I've actually done that too.
Yeah. But it is okay to let them destroy a toy if they want to, as long as you're okay with it. Don't let them destroy a toy that you're not okay with. And then don't try and turn it into a lesson. It's like, well, you destroyed this toy.
No, they understand the consequences of their actions when it happens. Like if it got destroyed, that's the natural consequence, and that's the best way they learn. Like, oh, and then next time they're playing with a toy and you say, that's a little rough, you might break that. They're going to know what they mean. Yeah, they're not going to learn that unless they know exactly what that means. Otherwise, they just... sorry, I'm distracted. I
hear the kids.
I hear the kids kind of screaming. So we'll wrap up.
We didn't discuss
diffusing
situations with play.
Yes. Tension can really rise sometimes with kids, and that also I think is important to recognize the moments, because it's not always going to be appropriate to diffuse a situation with play, but it can be so useful.
You have to be careful, because sometimes if you try to, it comes across as you trying to manipulate the kid. So if the kid is upset and you want them to get in the car and they don't want to go, and you're like, come on, it'll be fun. I mean, that could go one of two ways. Sometimes the kid could be like, okay, yeah. And then other times the kid's like, seriously, I know exactly what you're trying to do. It's not working.
And it's not fun.
So,
I know that's not fun. Yeah.
A bit of that is just knowing your kid, knowing when that is appropriate. And if it's not taken well, don't keep trying. Nobody likes that. Like, come on, you'll love it.
Yeah.
Like that it doesn't feel very good.
Forcing a smile out of them, or like making silly jokes or tickling to try and get them to laugh. Ugh.
Mm-hmm. No.
And don't do that. But you can do something like, oh, it's time to go to the kitchen to get a snack. And the kid's like, distracted or seeming like, no, I don't want to do that. You can always go like, I'm going to walk like a duck to the kitchen. How are you going to walk? And you can be like, quack, 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 or whatever. That could be a fun way to sort of move forward in a playful way.
Do you want to race?
We can race to the kitchen.
Love that.
Who's going to get there first?
Although be careful, because if you have more than one, it can get intense, because then they start racing each other, and whoever loses gets really upset.
Yeah, that can feel a little hard at times. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's all about knowing your kid and knowing the moment, and
have fun with our kids. Have fun with your kids.
Yeah.
It's this is such a fun time. And it doesn't last forever.
No. When they're 16 and they no longer want to walk like a duck up the hallway, you're going to think back on those moments, and just, those are the times that you're going to remember too. You're not going to, you're going to reflect on all of those silly, goofy, fun, laughing times. And the more we have of that, just the more positive our memories are going to be.
And our kids' memories.
And our kids' memories, which is so beautiful. Yeah. So... based on that, I don't know. Do you think that's out? All right, guys. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
You can always send questions to questions@parentingtrap.com, or if you're watching this on YouTube, you may also just directly in the comments, and we'll hopefully get to your questions.
Yeah,
I'm sure of it. Thanks a lot, guys.
Thanks. Bye.